You're tuned in to the Foxboro BeatCast, a podcast for Patriots fans by Patriots fans. And here are your hosts, is Kaleb McChesney and Ryan Moore.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Foxboro BeatCast. I'm your host, Kaleb McChesney. Alongside me, not Ryan. It's Elsio Rosario from Steel City Beat. Ryan decided to take a mental health day today, so in comes Elsio to save the day. So it's not just my ugly mug talking to everybody by myself. Elsio, how are you on this fine Thursday?
As well as can be expected. I'd like to send love, well regards to our good friend, great co-host Ryan. Just glad to be here talking football, hoping to provide a little bit of much needed positivity here due to recent happenings.
Yeah. Usually I'm a little I'm mask off with it, and people know my opinion on certain people in certain places, whether that be in New England or otherwise. But neither here nor there. I don't think anybody wants to hear us rant and bitch and moan after it's all said and done. Nothing we can do about it now besides talk about this Patriots team who can't do anything about it either. They are 2-7 after losing to the Tennessee Titans in overtime in Nashville, 20-17. Drake May now 0-3 in his starts that he starts and finishes. You could count that Jets win, but he got concussed pretty early. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go ahead and talk about why the Patriots didn't do anything at the trade deadline. The end goal of 2024, 2025, what we're looking for. And then we're going to talk about the Bears game this weekend, rookie versus rookie. And we'll talk about the trade deadline as a whole. Then we'll get our picks in. So, Elsio, glad you're here with us. Do you want to just dive right into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, but not at the same time to hear that Drake May is 0-3 in games he started and finished. That Titans game, I know, wasn't the most explosive by total stat share, but we had fireworks on both sides. I'll say that trick play with the reverse motion by the Titans. I know they couldn't even blame the Pats defense there. Most defenses would get caught by that.
I'm sure you're asking, where was this Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh?
But yeah, man, Drake May, he's electric. You could take this kid's highlights, throw Red Run by 21 Savage over it, and have a pretty nice TikTok at it.
So I was thinking about this because you wrote in the script that Drake May had TikTok edit vibes, and I'm thinking to myself, what would be the edit song for Drake May? And I came to this conclusion. You're gonna hate this. It has to be a Drake song because of his name.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
I thought like Headlines would be a good one because it has that intro do, and it's like nice little lineup. And then as soon as she starts rapping, I forget the opening line. I'm gonna go look it up right now and just rap it for all of you people. I might be too strung out on compliments, overdosed on confidence, started not to give a fuck and stop fearing the consequence. I feel like it's a pretty good segue. I think Headlines could be a really good Drake May song.
Honestly, you're right. Yeah, not just picked Red Rum because that's all I ever see people on TikTok use, to be honest with you.
Or you could go old school and go to Hell and Back by Kid Ink. You might know the Tavon Austin headline, his highlight reel. There was one of Johnny Manziel when I was a kid, and it had "I Mean It" by G-Eazy in the background, and that was fire. But yeah, let's get into this game. In all seriousness, let's get into the matchup. The New England Patriots. Drake May, 29 of 41, 206, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He was once again your leading rusher with 8 carries for 95 yards. Any guess on what Ramondre Stevenson did on the ground?
I'm going to admit I Googled beforehand. It was
10 for
16.
16.
Mm-hmm.
1.6 yards a carry. Is that good for a running back?
That's not good for a fullback or a quarterback, let
I've
alone
seen
a
defensive
running.
tackles with a higher average carry. Jermichael Hasty got 1 carry for 0. Antonio Gibson got 1 carry for -1. So your running backs combined for a total of 15 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. So good for you guys. The Patriots, they fell behind 7-3 very quickly. Had to be behind the 8 ball, and they just couldn't run the ball because the Titans admittedly have a really good run defense. Really good between those two D tackles. Anthony, not Anthony. Anthony Simmons, is that his name? Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons.
Simmons, yeah.
And then who's the other one that plays right beside him?
I'd know the name if you didn't ask.
So you have Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat. Is that who I'm thinking of?
Maybe.
There's also
Sweat,
Harold Landry and Kenneth Murray,
Harold Landry's pretty good.
DC legend. Yeah, I think I was thinking of T'Vondre Sweat.
T'Vondre Sweat. Yeah, you got it.
He didn't record a sack. Jeffrey Simmons got 1. Arden Key got 1. God, you remember Arden Key when he was coming out of college?
T'Vondre Sweat was one of like 3 players on their front 7 not to record a sack.
Seriously. Drake May got sacked 4 times minus for 21 yards. Mason Rudolph, 20 of 33, 240 and 2. Tony Pollard, 28 carries, 128 yards, 4.6 yards a carry. Julius Chestnut, 5 for 22, 4.4. Can't have it. You just can't have it. And then you let Calvin Ridley and Nick Westbrook-Ikine just absolutely destroy you. Calvin Ridley, 5 for 73. Ikine 550 and 1. Like they were too good on offense. They were just too good for us, and they chewed the clock. When you look into the team stats, the Titans dominated on time of possession. They had the ball for 38-44. The Patriots had it for 29-09, and they lost 3 turnovers. When you lose a turnover battle and you lose the time of possession battle, I'd like to think that about 95% of the time you lose the football game.
Usually by more than 3, so props to you all for keeping it that close.
Keeping it close with a 1-win team that now has 2. I'm kind of over the moral victories at this point.
Yeah, I think me and you agree. Like, there's no such thing really as a moral victory.
I think that there are moral victories, but not in November.
Nah, I got you. Yeah.
When the Patriots lost, like if they had lost week 1 to Cincinnati, but they made it as close as they did, you're like, okay, we look functional, and you can do it probably once or twice more in September. After September's over and you get into October, you need to be like playing well, and they're not. The Patriots aren't. Like it's not a trend anymore. That's just the way it is. They suck. So definitely not what we were looking for on that part of it. Run defense obviously got torched. Let me go through the points that you typed up, Elsio. The O-line still isn't very good. What did you see?
I saw constant pressure. I saw Drake May hit as he threw, causing a pick. I saw a strip sack. And honestly, I just saw pressure overall. Thank God Drake May can use his legs.
Yeah, Ben Brown, his pants turned brown by the end of the night, dealing with Sweat and Simmons on that front line. It's a lot to ask for out of a last minute backup safety or center, excuse me, because David Andrews went out. Jake Andrews has been out all year, and then the guy that we tried to replace him with sucked, Nick Leverett.
Yeah.
So Ben Brown came from the Raiders practice squad, and he played admirably well in his starts. This wasn't a good one. He's had his handful the last 2 weeks between Quinnen Williams and Jeffrey Simmons. And it doesn't get that much better either with Montez Sweat this weekend.
I don't envy him, that's for sure.
What else did you write here? The Patriots receiving room, not elite, still young, still reason to be high on the room. You see, I don't know how I can be high on the room. Kayshon Boutte has probably one or two routes a game where I think it's really good, but he's quiet after that. Demario Douglas doesn't really get a ton of targets. Jalen Polk has been awful. Straight up, just awful. Tyquan Thornton can't get on the field because he sucks. KJ Osborne has not been the player that Kirk Cousins said that he was in Minnesota. And then Javon Baker can't get on the field.
No,
or at least on offense.
And, Baker's the one that really surprises me because when you all drafted him in the 6th, from film, what I heard, what I saw still, it's looking like maybe the 6th round pick fit. Maybe.
No, for sure. Like it feels like they have a lot of bodies, but not a lot of names in the receiver room. If you get what I'm trying to get at. They have 7 receivers that they're carrying on the active roster, and Kendrick. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long week. If you can't tell by my eyes, it's been hard to sleep. It's hard to get the nice little shut eye in the evenings the last couple days. Hopefully that tonight it resets. I'll wake up and be refreshed. So forgive me when I'm stumbling through all these names and stumbling through my memory. Kendrick Bourne is the only one that seems to have a clue at that position.
Yeah, and other than him, if I had to pick the one with the most hype, it might be Demario Douglas, but even then, would he be getting that much hype on another team with a
Probably
better
not.
dream? No.
As far as receivers go, Hunter Henry, again, Mr. Consistent, 7 of 56 for 8 yards a catch. Always there for Drake May when he needs it. Kendrick Bourne, 4 of 41. Ramondre Stevenson, 5 for 38, and that game time touchdown in overtime. That was just that play was just unbelievable. Unbelievable play. Kayshon Boutte, 2 for 18 on 6 targets. Antonio Gibson, 1 for 12 on 1 target. Jaheim Bell, 1 for 1 on 1. Jalen Polk got 1 target, no catches. It's tough.
You don't love when your second round receiver is finishing a game 0 of 1 on his targets.
Especially when he claimed to have the best hands of the NFL. As far as penalties go, they were about even. Tennessee had 10 penalties for 67. Patriots had 8 penalties for 58 yards. But I think what killed the team was the turnovers and the time possession. You can't give a team 3 turnovers and expect to win, especially even a team like Tennessee that is just not good. Like the Patriots, I feel like should have competed with Tennessee, and they did, but they should have won. I feel like they're the better team.
I tend to agree. With you on that. I thought this was perhaps the most winnable game on your schedule. That could be saying a bit much.
Do you want to talk about the Patriots schedule the rest of the way?
You know what? Yeah, we might as well.
So they have the Bears this week that we'll get into a little bit later. I feel like that's a loss.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
I'm only going to count the wins because I think if I count the losses, I'll run out of fingers. The Rams at home next week. That's a loss. In Miami, maybe.
The Dolphins have been disappointing this year for sure.
And again, they didn't have Tua, but
yeah,
Tua's back and they're not playing great.
No.
The Colts, I feel like that's a winnable game. I think they should beat the Colts.
Yeah.
especially if Anthony Richardson comes back. The Cardinals in Arizona. If the Cardinals are weird because like they're the most consistently inconsistent team in football.
Depends on which team shows up for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna schedule it as a loss, but crazy things happen. Against the Bills in Buffalo, that's an L. The Chargers come here. I feel like that's a loss. I feel like they're a much better coach team than we are. They're more disciplined, and their talent's better. They have a top 3 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's very good. And then the Bills at home. The only way we win that is if they rest starters. So, what's that? 2 maybe wins.
2 maybe, and I might be generous and say 3 because with Arizona,
You never know. You never know.
Depends, yeah.
So not great. Patriots could finish 5-12, and that's the best case scenario. Not great.
No, I mean, no, it's not. The only encouragement I have, Drake Mays there. He's he's not giving me any reason to be discouraged about his track in the
No, I
league.
think out of the 53 players on this roster, he is number 1. I think he's the best player.
Actually, yeah, I'll agree. I like I've been high on Christian Gonzalez. Admittedly, I haven't paid too close attention to see how he's faring out there, but
He's had his highs are really high. His lows aren't super low. More often than not, I feel like he finishes in the middle. But I think he stepped up. He's a gamer for sure.
you'll take that in a second-year corner.
Do you like him more than Broderick Jones?
That's a low bar. Yes. I think I might like every member of your offensive line more than Broderick Jones.
We didn't stream that draft, did we?
Uh,
No, we streamed
no,
last year. We streamed
yeah.
last year. Or this year. Okay, so that's done. The question is, the trade deadline just came and passed, and the Patriots didn't do anything. Like, they traded Uche for a 6th round pick, and that's probably fair compensation for what he's done here. What's your theory on like why they didn't do anything? Like why they didn't sell on Davon Godchaux, why they didn't sell on KJ Osborne, who I guess had interest from the Chargers.
I
What's your theory?
I couldn't honestly tell you why they didn't sell. Maybe they just didn't like the compensation. Maybe the phones weren't ringing like they thought it would. It's hard to say, man, because if anything, you all should be sellers at the deadline. And if you were going to buy, honestly, most of your moves were taken away before. I'm talking your Deontay Johnson, your Hopkins. He didn't go for too much.
No, but he was going to
So,
go play for a contender. I don't think he would have came here.
no. So basically, your Deontay Johnson. That's the move I really would have pegged for you all, because relatively cheap compensation. He'd probably be the best in the room.
I think that the Patriots should have bought with the future in mind. They should have been buyers with the future in mind. So, if you told me that the Patriots were going to trade a 2nd round pick for T. Higgins, I would have done it happily.
Yeah,
I don't know what the D tackle linebacker market was at the deadline. I don't know if there's anybody where I would say, yeah, that's a cornerstone piece that you need to go get. But for receiver, I feel like that was a slam dunk that they should have went and at least called about a T. Higgins or any of these other like disgruntled receivers in places. I don't know about any other examples off the top of my head. T. Higgins has been the one that's like been circled.
I agree with you. I mean, for a second, you only hope and pray you find a player as good as T. Higgins in the second round.
Mm.
It's fair value. It's a good return for you. While you probably have the money to sign him. You have a quarterback on a rookie scale. Your highest paid player is probably on Winnie, if I'm right. Is that
Yes,
right?
I believe he has the most AAV. I'll double check that.
So
It could have been the wife beater, Jabril Peppers.
that's rough, man.
See, that's what pisses me off about like this. Oh, it's the same roster that they had last year. And when Bill talks about that, about his defense and how they were number one against the run, Barmore's out. Jawan Bentley's out. Jabril Peppers beat his wife and he's out. It's not the same team.
No, I mean
And Kyle Duggar was a healthy scratch. We were rumored to move him.
as an outside observer, because you and Ryan are Patriots guys. Bill just seems to want any excuse to say the Patriots are doing a bad job, and it's two ways. Both parties want to, see who can throw the most backhanded shots.
Yeah, so Mike Onwenu, starting next year, is going to be making 12 per. After that is Barmore with 10.
Oh, you could easily pay Higgins then.
Can you
Easily.
believe it? Can you believe that we are so cheap that our starting base salary is $12 million? Like that's how you can like tell that it's a bad team. I have a theory that we're gonna work out right here. Okay, like we're gonna rip through these teams and see what bad teams versus good teams are doing. Share screen if it'll let me. I want to go to the cat table. You can see this, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, let's go to the Jaguars. Oh wait, why would I do that? I could just do it from that other screen. Let's go to a bad team like the Jaguars. How much do you think their highest? Oh, it's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence would probably be making the money.
he's going to be making a lot, but he'll be the exception on that team.
Wait, why is his base salary so cheap?
Is that updated with the new contract?
It should be. Oh, should I go to cash then?
Yeah. See
Okay,
that.
cash total. There we go. Let's go revisit the Patriots. $26 million total for Mike Onwenu. Let's go to the bad teams and see like what their highest cash total is. Justin Hardy's making $67 million.
Who is Justin Hardy?
That's a good question. What? That has to be broken, right?
I don't believe that.
Who is Justin Hardy?
That might just be what he's made. There's no shot that he's making that.
$67 million. Okay. Bad team, the Giants. Brian Burns. Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like the Patriots have the worst player making the top money. Raiders?
Yeah, arguably.
Max Crosby? Max Crosby doesn't make as much as Mike Onwenu. That's crazy. Cleveland? Myles Garrett. Yeah, so bad teams don't pay a lot of money. Look at that, Robert Hunt. There you go, guard making the same money as Mike Onwenu. I feel like there's a theory to the bad teams.
I'd like to.
Let's go to KC. Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple top players, a couple top dogs right there.
I'd like to ask you, by the way, like, which one do you think is, the cause? Do you think they're bad because they're not paying players, or do you think they're not paying players because there's no one on the team to pay?
It can be both. The Patriots have they've developed poorly for the last couple of years, and now we see it. And I think other teams have similar things. Like I don't know if a team sucks because they're cheap in the NFL. I think in baseball, you can suck because you're cheap. I think that can happen, especially with the Boston Red Sox. I think in basketball that can happen. But I feel like in basketball it's so much easier to develop players than it is in like other leagues. And then in the NHL, it's kind of similar to basketball. So I think the NFL is a little different. Most players are like develop then make money. With the team that they got drafted by, like there's so few really really good NFL players. Like if you're scraping through free agency, it's unlikely that you'll actually get to the Super Bowl. The Rams did it, buying all the top dogs, and then going and trading for Stafford, and it worked. But I feel like that's kind of just like a differentiation from the norm, a deviation from the norm.
I'd agree, yeah.
So, yeah, but the Patriots don't have any players they're playing. That's why they have so many cap space, but we're not doing anything with that cap space because we're not getting any players. And if T. Higgins is on the block, you go get him and you make him paid and you put him at the top of your list because he'd be the best player on your team.
I agree.
So, sorry for that tangent, folks. Want to talk about the Bears?
Yeah, let's talk the Bears.
Tell me about what you think about Kaleb Williams.
He was disappointing at first, I'll say. I'll admit I went in a little bit lower on Kaleb Williams than most. I didn't think he'd suck, but he's not Patrick Mahomes 2.0. He's turned it up. You can argue against really bad defenses, so we'll see. I think he's solid. I think the matchup between him and Drake will be a fun one. Yeah, we'll just see which Kaleb shows up to the game.
His name is spelled wrong. So against the Cardinals, he completed 53% of his passes for 217 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Against the Commanders, a similar stat line. Against the Commanders, it was really bad for the first 3.5 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, he turned it up, and he got him this close. It was a Hail Mary. Against the Jaguars, that's when the Jaguars and the Panthers, that was like the two games where like he showed who he was. Against the Jaguars, 226 and 4. Against the Panthers, 304 and 2. He's obviously got a long way to go, but I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, I mean, people got to understand with these rookies, you can't expect a complete product. You're looking for, your flashes, a little consistency, and just them showing what they have in their development track, really.
Okay, this Bears roster. The three receivers stacked. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. Very good. DJ Moore is a top 15 receiver in the league. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, as much as you were just attacked.
I'm my own cat. Apologies, folks.
I'm so glad we're on video now. If you could just like watch that back. That was crazy. Near miss. Okay. Keenan Allen, older but still reliable, and Rome Odunze. He could be something really, really good. And then DeAndre Swift is a really good running back. Roshan Johnson, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Roshan Johnson, really good RB2. Travis Homer, shout out to the Canes. Very good RB3. They just shipped out Khalil Herbert for a 7th to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Stacked for him. Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett, 2 really good tight ends. Mercedes Lewis is like a 6th tackle. Their O-line is shaky. Darnell Wright at right tackle, Matt Pryor at right guard, Coleman Shelton at center, Tevin Jenkins at left guard, and Braxton Jones at left tackle, who is questionable. Both their tackles are questionable for this weekend.
Yeah, it's already a spot of weakness, and both tackles questionable. That could be a position the Patriots have to capitalize on.
Yeah, and this would be a game where Christian Barmore would excel. He's not here.
No, I mean,
This would be a game for Uche and Judon to really break out. Neither of them are here. It's tough.
the,
Wait, you got any other thoughts about this offense?
I hate for you all the running back room because I would argue DeAndre Swift is around Tony Pollard, maybe even a bit better, and you just gave Tony Pollard like 4.6 a pop, and he probably should have had at least one touchdown.
I'm super curious what the over-under is for DeAndre Swift rushing yards. I'm super, super curious about that as I load in the DraftKings. What do you think it's at? Did they put it at 95?
I'd say it would be about 95 was I thought like 94.5, 95, something like that.
New England Patriots. DeAndre Swift rushing yards. Oh, that's receiving yards. I was like, that's weird. DeAndre Swift rushing yards. You can make plus money at 80 plus. It's plus 125 for 80 plus.
I'd bet on that.
If you do that and then say Drake May 225 passing yards, you put $50 on it, you're making $300.
I think I'd make that bet.
Yeah. So hit the over on DeAndre Swift rushing yards. Hit the over, hammer it.
Yeah.
Hammer it as soon as possible. So yeah, anything else?
Yeah, their O line, that's what you have to take advantage of. And I was gonna ask you, do you think you all have the juice on the front seven to truly take advantage of that?
No.
That's not ideal. Their receivers, you'll have Gonzo on one, so hopefully he holds him relatively well.
I think you'll get DJ Moore on Gonzo. You'll get Keenan Allen on Marcus Jones, and then you're gonna have Jonathan Jones on Roma Dunze. But I could see them swapped. I just worry because Roma Dunze is 6'3", 215. Marcus Jones is like 5'8". So I feel like because Jonathan Jones is the better corner, he can make up for his size deficiency and he can match up with Rome better. And then you put Marcus Jones on Keenan Allen, who are similar height or similar build anyway.
I can agree. But yeah, just overall, it's a solid offense. You'll want to
Keenan Allen's
pressure.
6'2". Oh, they might be cooked. Keenan Allen's 6'2". I thought he was shorter than that.
Oof.
This defense though, pretty good.
Bears, yeah.
Montez Sweat, man, unbelievable get. Tremaine Edmonds, the good Edmonds brother. What do you think about him?
I love him. I loved him coming out of Virginia Tech, my favorite college team. Might have been a bit biased, but it seemed to be consensus. He was likely the best linebacker in that draft, maybe second. Good with the Bills. I thought got paid, went to Chicago. He's just a solid guy to have in the middle, can cover, can run support. He's just your Swiss Army knife you want back there.
Kyler Gordon, he was somebody I liked coming out of college. He's questionable for this weekend, but Kevin Byard, great safety. Jaquan Brisker, that's a good safety tandem between those two.
It is.
Jalen Johnson is awesome. Tyreek Stevenson, another guy out of Miami.
Up and down.
Kind of made the headlines for all the wrong reasons against Washington.
Poor guy, yeah.
TJ Edwards is very good. DeMarcus Walker's all right. I believe if I'm thinking of this guy. Yep, he's lasted in the league for 7 years now. Pretty good. Jervon Dexter Sr.
It's a
Pretty good line.
it's scary because on the same hand, you have more weaknesses on offense, obviously. But I was going to say the line is something they could take advantage of. Their front seven does, in fact, have the juice to take advantage.
Drake May's day is going to be hell.
Yeah, and I feel bad for him for that.
Like, you think the Titans took advantage of you? The Bears' defense is just as good, if not better.
I hope there's a game plan to try to help him. We'll see.
You said "ope." I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta go check Twitter." No news on Twitter, thank God. But we haven't broken news live on the show in a while. The last breaking story that we had was me and Trent recording one night in February when we signed Austin Hooper. That was our big news break.
Austin Hooper.
And then obviously we had the Drake May pick, where I was just ecstatic.
I'll never forgive Austin Hooper. He had me excited off 1 year in Dynasty. Went to the Browns, was never anything again.
The Falcons, he was pretty good though.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Okay. Bears deep dive's over. I gotta read it. I don't have the injury report up anymore. It's gone. It's gone forever. NFL stories. We're gonna run through all these trades, talk about them. More of a league-wide sense. Also, you're a Steelers fan. They were pretty active. I won't bury the lead here. Let's talk about the Steelers. They went and got Preston Smith for a 2025 7th from Green Bay. What do you think about that?
I think it's fine. It doesn't really move the needle one way or the other. You lose a seventh. That's probably a practice squad guy, a starter if you're lucky. Preston Smith's a solid player, long career, just a good depth piece to have in that edge room.
And then you went and got Mike Williams.
Yeah,
I was a big Mike Williams guy. I think he's a pretty good player when he can stay healthy. I would, if the Patriots, who are not in the same division as the Jets, I'd be like, yeah, I'd throw a 5th round pick at him. Teach Drake May how to throw a jump ball, but you go and get him. What do you think he adds to the Steelers offense?
I mean, I'm not quite as high. I think he's all right. He's a better wide receiver too than anyone we had. Tall guy. He plays to Russ's style very well. Russ likes throwing those jump balls. Those go up and get them. So he does good there. I had some disappointment and a bit of trepidation with the move, and really it's not the player's fault. It's just over the off season you had Brandon Ayuk. Over the past few weeks with the confusing crap out of Rams camp, you had Cooper Kupp, you had Hopkins, which he wouldn't have come here, but you had even Deontay, who we traded, and I think it was somewhat of a win-win. That corner we got is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's just he does add to the team. He moves the needle a little, but compared to some,
what do you think the ceiling is for the Steelers this year? You're 6-2, top of your division.
We are 6-2, and I like that we made a couple moves. But man, this coming stretch on the schedule tough. We got the Ravens and KC, not only in a row, but within 4 days of each other. I could see, even if we manage to beat Baltimore, it'll be scrappy, so we'll lose to KC. At best, we go 1 of 2. We split that. Let me check our schedule.
I can pull it up. Steelers schedule. So you have the Commanders this weekend.
I think that's winnable.
The Ravens next weekend.
Usually, I would say that's not winnable because
But you don't have
Jackson.
KC. You have the Browns on Thursday night.
Oh, we got. Well,
You don't have KC on the schedule. What are you yapping about?
No, we have KC on the schedule.
Nah, not on my screen.
Oh, I'm talking way ahead of time. We play them on Christmas Day. That's down at the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Okay. So you have the Commanders this weekend. You have the Ravens next weekend. You have the Browns on Thursday night. Then the Bengals. Then the Browns.
Yeah, that's 1, 2.
I
That's
think you
4.
you can go 3-1 there.
I think so. Yeah.
And then you have the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. That's tough.
Yeah, that's where it gets dicey.
Late December is going to be tough.
So,
if they make the playoff, do you think they're Super Bowl or AFC Championship?
some things would have to go right for us. I'm going to assume KC has the first round bye. Let's go ahead and throw that out. We need to be a relatively high seed because if we get Buffalo in the first, we lose. If we get Baltimore in the first, that's dicey. We overperform against Lamar Jackson. Let me look at this playoff picture. But I think we the Texans. I don't like the way we project against Houston.
You'd be a 3 right now behind Buffalo.
We'd be
which
at
means
3.
you would play the Chargers. Ooh,
That would be a tough matchup too. I think
it's a shitty playoff game.
it is.
Nobody wants to watch that.
If anything, I think we'd want Denver in the first round. That's the most winnable of the current playoff teams. And we want to be a high enough seed that we're not facing KC in round 2 for sure.
And there's your Steelers deep dive for those of you watching from Steel City Beat. So you traded Deontay Johnson for a 6th. No. You traded him to the Panthers. Then the Panthers traded him for a 6th to the Ravens. What do you make of that move? Are you any more concerned about the Ravens than you were before?
Not really. I don't think it's a bad move. Deontay Johnson's a pretty good player. It just doesn't really move the needle for me. You get an upgrade at your wide receiver 3, maybe 2 at best. You have Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, 2 good players. Mark Andrews, really good tight end, or historically, not much this year. I mean, it just doesn't move the needle for me, Deontay, really.
Mm-hmm. Rashad Bateman better. Go Gophers. The Lions got Zadarius Smith from the Browns. What do you make about that deal? What do you think the Lions are looking good?
I think they're looking good. Zadarius Smith is a veteran, long career, viewed generally as a really solid guy. You lose Aiden Hutchinson, right? You have to try to replace him. Are they getting Aiden Hutchinson out of Zadarius? No, but they're getting a good, solid veteran there, a good, solid guy that can get you about 7.5, I think, over a season if he starts every snap. So solid move.
Had to happen. Maybe the biggest move of the evening. The Commanders got Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints for a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th. They got a 5th back. What do you make about that? Like the Saints now, they don't have their Mike Evans stopper, but they're 2-6. They're calling it a season at this point. fired their coach Dennis Allen. Went and hired who's their interim head coach?
His name starts with Riz because I saw someone
Darren
call him
Rizzi.
Rizzler, yeah.
No, he's not the Rizzler. Don't disrespect the Rizzler like that. Give me a break. He was their special teams coach, yeah?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Brian Young is going to run the defensive line room. Todd Grantham is a senior advisor to defensive coordinator Joe Woods. He filled out a lot of the staff with some other guys. Saints, obviously, bad year. But what do you make about Marshawn Lattimore in Washington? Does this make them like a serious Super Bowl contender?
Apparently, they were higher on Mike Williams than me because they did that after we got Mike Williams.
They need that Mike Williams stopper. Yeah.
But no, in seriousness, we can be honest. Like, Marshawn Lattimore isn't what he used to be, but he's not at all a bad player. He's a very good corner. He'd be plenty of teams' cornerback one, probably still yet. So Washington they got Daniels. They probably thought, we'll ease him along, rebuild. Then they realized we're contending. Let's push these chips in. Let's get Marshawn Lattimore, upgrade this secondary, and make a push for the NFC. And I think they can.
You think they're a serious Super Bowl threat?
I do, especially in the NFC this year.
Because it's Detroit, and then who else, right?
Yeah, because the Niners have
Injured.
fell apart. They've been injured, hurt, beaten, bruised.
The Rams are just now starting to come back. Again.
And, who am I thinking about? Jordan Love can't stay healthy.
Packers, yeah. I think that Minnesota has hit the ceiling with Darnold.
It's looking like Minnesota has had a sharp decline over the past 3 to 4 weeks, probably.
And obviously, we don't believe in Arizona. Consistently inconsistent.
I mean, Dak's hurt.
Cowboy season's over. They're over.
Jalen Hurts peaked in the Super Bowl season, and
really getting that magic back, yeah. And then in the NFC South is the Falcons, who I think are pretty good. I don't know if they're Super Bowl threat.
So there's a big vacuum there, and there's a certain team in DC that is just waiting to fill it, and I don't think it's a coincidence that it happened after Dan Snyder, whatever his name is, sold the team.
Yeah, Washington D.C. Not all things looking down lately. This thing's looking up. There are good things to believe about in DC, believe it or not. And I'm a racing fan, obviously, wearing my Alex Bowman racing shirt and hat. Shout out to Dale Jr., diehard Washington fan. He was at the game with the Hail Mary. He loves his Commanders. I'll be pulling for him.
Yeah, you'd love to see Dale Jr. happy, or at least I do. I think most sane people do. So,
who doesn't like Junior? Besides Kyle Busch fans. All right. Other stories. The Ravens got Trey White for a 7th round pick swap. Does that make you any more concerned about the Ravens?
They upgraded cornerback too, which, that could be a problem. Really, the Ravens needed a safety, though. They addressed the wrong part of their secondary here, but Trey White's still a really good player, so I don't think it matters enough to knock the move and say it does nothing. I think they got stronger defensively, and they kind of needed to, truth be told, overall.
We'll see Trey White in action tonight against the Bengals. So when people watch this, it'll probably already be going on, already done. So I won't make any predictions on that besides when we go to picks. Dak Prescott, I wrote the script and he's out for a couple of years. There's a couple of weeks with that hamstring injury. The Cowboys season's done, right?
Oh, yeah, they're cooked. They've been cooked since they let Derek Carr and Rashid Shaheed become prime Brady and Moss on them. They've been done since then.
Mike McCarthy out.
Oh, for sure. If he's not fired, then I don't know. Jerry Jones has been cloned and replaced.
Hey Jerry, it's Bill. I think you could give me a job here. Just call me back. Thanks.
But yeah, I mean, Jerry Jones has already been kind of hinting at McCarthy being gone, pointing blame at coaching and stuff. So Mike McCarthy's probably gone.
Yep, and nobody's happier about that than Aaron Rodgers. And then Chuba Hubbard extended 4 years, $33 million by the Panthers. This move doesn't make sense to me.
It's reactionary by them.
Why is
Because
that?
he's had a solid season. But before this season, what has he done? Been their running back two for the most part?
Yep.
Nothing really. And he's getting 4 years, 33. How much does Derrick Henry getting from Baltimore for reference? Probably more, right?
Henry contract. 2 years, 16, so 8. 4. What's 4 divided by 33 or 33 divided
More
by 4?
than 8.
Is it?
A little bit, yeah, like 8.2 something. So he's making about in the ballpark of Derrick Henry, who is the leading running back in the league right now.
33 divided by 4. 8.25, 8 and a quarter.
Chuba Hubbard is making more money than Derrick Henry technically on his contract.
You like that move?
No, I don't want to act like the player sucks. I don't hate Chuba Hubbard. I think he's solid, but that's just it's an overreaction because they have no positives there. Bryce Young looked like a bust, but they have to play him now. They had to trade Deontay Johnson, and if Adam Thielen wasn't on IR, they would have shipped him out too. Everything they've tried to do has failed at an astronomical level.
Panthers gonna Panther, huh?
So they found the one piece that wasn't an abject failure and said, yeah, let's throw money at that because it gave us a modicum of success.
Like, why would you draft Jonathan Brooks so high? That's my question.
Waste.
Has Jonathan Brooks played yet?
Maybe. I don't know if he's had any touches.
Jonathan Brooks. Nope, he was activated to play just 24 hours ago.
So they drafted him that high and he has not yet played.
Isn't that a shame? Panthers gonna Panther. Again, he had the late season knee injury. For Texas, I believe that's where he went. For Texas.
Yeah.
But why would you pay Chuba Hubbard? I don't know. This is the Panthers here. They don't have a reason for everything. They're just like, screw it. We're the Panthers. We're gonna just suck. And yes, okay, last one. Christian McCaffrey returned to practice this week after his battle with bilateral Achilles tendonitis. I make it sound like it's cancer, but it's not. It's just Achilles injuries. Are the San Francisco 49ers salvageable? Like, can they make a season out of this? Right now, they sit. I should probably just pull up the NFL playoff picture again, huh? Right now, the San Francisco 49ers are not in the playoffs. They're at 9th at 4-4, third in the West. Can they make a season out of this? Can they leapfrog the Packers, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Cardinals? Okay, no, I should probably not count the Cardinals. The wild card teams are the Vikings, the Eagles, and the Packers. Can the Niners jump them while they're 2 games behind at 4-4?
Maybe. It depends. So CMC's practicing. If
Say
the
he comes back
Niners
next week.
back next week. If the
And the
Niners,
Niners are playing Tampa this week. Oh,
I don't know if they win that.
it's not a guarantee. No, it's not.
No,
So they could
it
have to
happened
leapfrog
last
up
year.
to 3 games on these guys.
I'm gonna say no with that in mind.
You think no playoffs for them?
I'm gonna say no playoffs, but they could prove me wrong because you'll have CMC back next week. But they need a lot to go right. They need Ricky Pearsall to live up to it. Need CMC to not be too limited because he's been out for by the time he comes back 11 or 12 weeks. No football.
Yep.
So
the teams that I referenced, the Eagles are playing Dallas this weekend.
That's a win for Philly.
The Packers are on bye.
Okay,
and Minnesota is playing the Mac Jones-led Jaguars.
Yeah, it's not looking good for San Fran. Of those teams, San Francisco has the most losable matchup by far. Even without Evans and Godwin, the Bucs have been a really good football team.
And that's it for your NFL stories, unless you have something that you want to get to, Elsio, that I didn't mention.
Anything? No, I think I was pretty comprehensive, touched on everything I'd think of.
Well, the most important thing is, did you have fun?
Most certainly. Always fun coming on here.
All right, you want to do our picks?
Yes, sir.
All right, the weekly pick'em. Oh, man, I forgot to count the spread for last week's results. But also, you've been participating with us on this pick'em all season long. So I'll compare our numbers. I beat you last week 9-6. The season standings, I have 76 points. You have 81. I have the lowest of all of us. I am 4 games below 80. Everybody else is at 80 or above. So Brian is killing it at 95.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's crushing it. His lowest is 7.
You read the script?
Seriously. Speaking of, I gotta get Brian on the show again. He's fun. I love having him on. All right, let's get to these games. And you will be taking Ryan's spot playing the spread. So if you blow his lead on me, he's got you to blame. The first game, Cincinnati at Baltimore tonight. The Ravens are 6-point favorites. Elsio, who are you taking and why?
I'm going to take Baltimore, but not to cover, because we've seen these teams play already. Baltimore won. It was close. They didn't cover 6 points back then. I think Baltimore was and is the better team, but I don't think Cincy's gotten worse enough that they lose by more than 6 or lose by 6 even.
Nope, I am lockstep right next to you. I'm taking the Ravens to win, Bengals to cover. 6 points is a lot of points. Up next, the German people are still paying reparations for World War II because the Panthers are coming to town and they're hosting the Giants after witnessing the Patriots and the Colts last year, which had maybe the worst interception I've ever seen. out of any quarterback in my entire life.
And we
So.
wonder why Europeans don't like this sport. Minimal
Seriously.
garbage every year.
The Giants are 6.5-point favorites. I am taking the Giants both ways. How about you?
I am gonna take them both ways too. Carolina blows, sucks. Bad defense, bad offense. Maybe passable special teams, but who cares? They're bad in every other phase of the game. Nothing to look forward to for them.
Besides maybe the first pick.
Maybe.
We're gonna skip New England and Chicago, save it for last. The Bills are headed to Indy to take on Joe Flacco and the Colts after barely scraping by against the Dolphins last weekend. The Bills are 4-point favorites. What you doing with this?
And it's in Indy. I have to take Buffalo both ways. The Colts are admittedly better with Joe Flacco, but that defense is porous. They let Sam Darnold have a great game against them, and they're up against Josh Allen, great running back, and James Cooks. Got that receiving room. I'm surprised the spread's that low. Buffalo covers easily.
I agree. I'm right. I'm locked up with you. AFC West division matchup. The Broncos headed to Arrowhead, take on the Chiefs after a disheartening loss to the Ravens. The Broncos are going to want to get on top. The Chiefs are still undefeated at 8-0. I don't think it's ending here. I'm taking KC both ways.
What's the spread on it?
7.5, KC.
Yeah, it's a division game, so I like to maybe get those a bit more competitive, but I think KC wins this game by at least 10 points, probably, so they're going to cover.
The Falcons are heading to New Orleans to take on the Saints. I'm not sure the storylines with these teams. Obviously, the Saints just fired their coach. They're going to have a new coach bump. But the Falcons have been a very talented team. The Falcons are 3.5-point favorites. What are you doing with this?
I'm going to be a controversial, maybe. Atlanta's going to win, but I don't take them to cover 3.5. It's a coverable spread, but we saw these teams play. The Saints will have Derek Carr back for this game, correct?
Yes. No, he came back last week.
Okay, and I'm actually going to change my answer because their team's more banged up. I was basing it on last game. The Falcons will cover 3.5 with that in mind.
I'm taking Atlanta both ways. San Francisco at Tampa. Both teams banged up. San Francisco is 6-point favorites. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm taking Tampa.
San Francisco are 6-point favorites. That's crazy. Tampa's winning the game. Forget cover.
You're that confident?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Tampa would cover +6. Maybe not, but Tampa's going to win.
Is this your lock of the week?
No, because the Panthers play this week, and that might have to be. I'm holding on for now.
Okay. Your game, the Steelers are headed to Washington to take on the Commanders. We just spent a whole bunch of time pumping their tires. The Washington Commanders are 3-point favorites. What are you doing with this?
I think it's a fair spread. Honestly, man, I try to be, pretty confident with the Steelers, not really pick against them. I'm taking Washington both ways in this game against us.
I am too. But you guys are really good at stopping the guys that like Lamar Jackson. These real like scramble improvisation quarterback.
That's true.
So I think that it's worth That's worth picking. That's worth thinking about when you're picking this game. All right, let's go to Jacksonville, where Mac Jones is starting for the Jaguars. His first start since leaving New England. They're playing the Vikings and Brian Flores. The Vikings are 6-point favorites. 7-point favorites. I'm taking Minnesota both ways.
I'm taking Minnesota both ways and make that my lock of the week.
Okay. You have any anti-Mac Jones rhetoric to spread?
Just his play. I mean, just watch his play in the NFL. That's the rhetoric.
No. Don't freeze.
He's just
Don't freeze.
Mac
We
Jones.
froze. Do you wanna bring that back?
All right. What? So I was saying anti-Mac Jones rhetoric, just his play. I don't have to say anything. Just watch him. The Vikings defense has kind of been a letdown lately, but not enough of a letdown to let Mac Jones get within 7 points of them.
The Titans at the Chargers. LAC -7. I'm taking LAC both ways. The Titans aren't very good as much as they're going to be riding high. And I think the Chargers are a good football team. So,
yeah, I'm going to take them both ways. I was thinking of taking them to win, but not cover, just because Tennessee's defense is solid. But problem is they might not score on offense, so I'll take them both ways.
The Eagles at Dallas. Eagles are 7-point favorites. I'll take Philly both ways again. Backup quarterback is playing. I can't defend that.
No, I mean, you really can't. Like, in Dallas's defense has been really porous this year too. It's just an easy cover. I think they could have afforded to give us a bigger spread to try to think about.
The Jets at Arizona. Arizona's won 2 games in a row. They're feeling it. The Jets just picked up a win against Houston on Thursday night. Could be a really good game. Could be awful too. I'll take Arizona both ways.
What's the spread on that?
Oh, sorry, Jets 1.5.
I'm gonna take Arizona, and both ways too. I mean, both teams are hard to project, really. I can't put too much confidence in that, but I'm feeling Arizona.
Detroit at Houston. Houston doesn't have Stephon Diggs or Nico Collins yet. Detroit obviously just improved their pass rush. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites. If Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs were playing, I might consider taking Houston. Can't do that now. I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah, I'm taking them too both ways. Jared Goff quietly has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. Their running game is still, really good. Amon-Ra's been great. I think Jameson Williams is reinstated. He was breaking out. Sam Laporta is a good red zone target. And their defense is serviceable enough to cover this.
All right, last game. Give me a score at the end. The Dolphins are headed to Los Angeles to play the Rams on Monday Night Football. The Rams are 1-point favorites.
I'm going to take the Rams both ways because one is not a lot of points to cover, obviously. I'm going to say give me Los Angeles 35-21. That might
56
points total, yes.
I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, but it's not going to be close. Rams 24, Dolphins 10, 34. 1 point, that's it? The Rams should have got a lot more. All right.
Yeah.
The Patriots headed to Soldier Field, take on the Bears Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Elsio, will you be watching? No, because the Steelers are on. The Chicago Bears are 6-point home favorites. Who do you got in this? Give me a score. Why?
I'm gonna apologize to you, but I have to take. I'm in the interest of picking correctly. I'm gonna take Chicago both ways. I like Drake May a lot. You have some solid pieces, but Chicago's just better in both phases of the ball overall.
The only way that we're comparable is coaching.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing to be comfortable
Give me a score.
in. Man, Chicago 28, Pats free.
Yikes. I'll take the Patriots. No. I'm taking the Patriots to cover. And Bears win. I think we'll make it close though. I think it'll be within a touchdown. So give me Bears 24, Patriots 20. Think it's fair.
I'm gonna change my score. Giving y'all 3 feels fairly insulting. I'm gonna bump that to 10.
28-10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, LCO. That's it for this week. Any kind words or anything you want to say to the people before we sign off?
Thank you for having me on, man. It's always a good time to sit, talk about football, talk about the Patriots, even with my somewhat limited knowledge compared to you all, and just, spread the message, make predictions, all that. It's just a good time, and I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you coming on such short notice. We made it happen. We made it work, and I think we had a pretty good show. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow the page, Foxboro Beat. Make sure you go follow Steel City Beat as well. More intermittent and picky and choosy about when they cover things, but it is there. So go check that out. Elsio, I'm sure, will be back at points throughout the season, throughout the off season, throughout the goofy stuff we do on beat sides. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you all next week. Go Patriots.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Foxboro BeatCast. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.